What's up, everybody? My name's Sage, and I am here today to talk about the latest album by Jidenna called 85 to Africa. This album is Jidenna's sophomore album, his second studio album. He released his debut in 2017 called The Chief, which that I wasn't really so much of a fan of. And after that, Jidenna, I didn't really know what to feel about him. I mean, I remember listening to that album and going through it one time, maybe a second time, and still just not really feeling it too much. One of his singles that he put out from that one, Bambi, that is like the only song that stuck with me throughout that whole thing, and it's a great ass song. Does an excellent job singing. The message behind the song was just dope. It was kind of one that hits home a little bit, unfortunately. Those of you who are familiar with the song know what I mean. The first song that I think all of us heard by him, Classic Man, released in 2015. That one was a decent little, summer song, but it wasn't one that I was too crazy about. I would hear it. It was skippable, He also released an EP about 9 months after his debut, The Chief, came out. And I didn't listen to that at all. Like I said, at that time, Jidenna just wasn't really doing it for me. But now, this year, we get this project, 85 to Africa. And guys, I'ma just let you know right now, your boy Jidenna comes through on this one. Jumping off, the album starts on a really nice, warm, smooth note with the opening track, Worth the Wait. It's one of those tracks where you hear it in the first few seconds that it plays, you get this feeling like with it being the opening track, you get this feeling like you're about to start listening to something good, which is always a good thing. And it's great when a song like that is at the beginning of an album and it pulls through. You end up actually getting a clean ass project from it. This song demonstrates some of Jidenna's best rapping that I've heard. I'm hearing a flow and bars from this dude that I never heard before. It sounds like I'm almost listening to somebody completely different. I like to compare it to like if you were watching a movie and at the end of that movie you got this little happy ending that's got this character who just went through a journey and he's about to head down on a road, a new path in a positive direction. That's what this song feels like. It feels like we're starting out with a person who's been through some stuff and we're getting this new journey that's starting at this point, and he's riding off into the sunset, credits roll, and then another movie comes out and we're getting that movie in this album. It's also funny too, at the end of the song, it might be kind of silly that I'm noticing something like this, but it sounds like he's doing that thing with his lips. You know how you used to, when you were a kid, you used to fumble with your lips with your finger, you used to go like, ooh. That's what it sounds like he's doing to me. Y'all listen to it, let me know if I'm tripping. I might be tripping. The next track following Worth the Wait is the title track of the album, 85 to Africa. And y'all, this is the best instrumental on the album. This beat hits so hard. Starts off with this like silly horn sound. It almost sounds like a clown horn. You know that horn with the little ball at the end that you squeeze like the clowns use and stuff. The beat starts to build up more and more until the point where it gets to the hook. And once it gets to that hook, dude, it's like you just jumped in a pool full of dirt. It's so nasty. You hear a beat like that, and that's when you just make this face like this. I will never skip that track. Primarily because the beat is so good. But outside of the beat, I mean, Jidenna, his rapping performance is solid. He spits some pretty decent bars on this track. I would love to see like a dance team do some sick ass choreo to this song. I could see it. I get it. It just came out, so I might have to wait a little bit before I get something like that. But yeah, I will be looking out for it because I can see it. It's gonna happen. And the next song in the track list we get is Baboosh. It takes things down a little bit, just a little bit. Great, soft, smooth vocals from Jidenna on the hook. When I hear the hook to this song, I feel like I'm listening to something from like the early 2000s, like an R&B record or something. Just on that hook, it has a really warm feeling to it when you hear it. Next up, we get to the song Tribe, which was one of the 4 singles he put out before the album's release. It's the most popular too, if I'm not mistaken. It's not one of my favorites that I've heard so far on the track list, but it is definitely a good one to sit alongside with everything else that we have here. I want to note, man, the music video to this song is really fucking cool. It depicts him hosting or either attending, I think he's hosting a party with a guest, and the camera view is like the first person view of a guest walking behind Jidenna, following him throughout the party. To me, I feel like that video embodies everything that this album is supposed to make you feel. Summertime, party, good vibes, good people, like alcohol, drugs, all that. Not saying that I'm, down with doing drugs or anything. Just saying, good vibes being spread throughout that whole place. And then next up is the song Susu. Now, between Tribe and Susu, this is where we start to actually see Jidenna take a step back on his lyrical performances. He's not really going too hard with his bars so much, but it doesn't take away from how good these tracks sound. Susu, that thing, I mean, it's another one of those songs, when you hear it, it's like, hey, turn that shit up. Like, seriously. I feel like it's the perfect song to Millie Rock to. Hey, I don't know if the Millie Rock is getting played out yet or not. I just don't really know how to dance like that. The Millie Rock is literally the only thing I can do. Weird, right? Black man don't know how to dance. Not proud of it, but it is what it is. At this point in the album, we get a switch up in the way that it sounds. We go from the super dope, upbeat, pleasant hip hop and R&B vibes that we've been getting on all these tracks, and we get a switch up in the instrumentation to more of a modern African vibe of music, which is actually a pretty pleasant thing for me. I could see how a lot of listeners who prefer a more linear listen for an album might not appreciate this switch up as much, but all I ask is that you guys just give it a chance. It might turn out better than you think. It definitely did for me. Zodi, Sufi Woman, Vaporizer, and Pretty and Afraid are the tracks that we get that just have this different feel. I like to look at it like Jidenna taking us on this journey with this album. He takes the 85 to Atlanta, books a flight straight to Africa, and at this point in the album, we're here with him, soaking up them vibes that he's getting out there. Vaporizer is probably the best one in my opinion out of all of those that has that African blend to it. It's one that'll instantly get you grooving, man. And you hear all these different instruments, these different horns playing, the drums. I would love to see this song performed live. I think Jidenna's actually gonna be in Cincinnati soon, so I'm gonna probably have to check that out. The song Pretty and Afraid is probably the most unique song in the whole track list. It's one of those songs that you gotta give a chance. Listen to it a couple times before you make your final judgment. It's probably my least favorite song on the album, but with that being said, I'm not saying it's bad by any means. I could see a lot of people disliking it though because of how different it sounds. In the next track, Jungle Fever, we get probably one of the best stories told in the album so far. In this song, he's rapping and telling a story about his parents. His parents being interracial, his father being African and his mother being white. It's like an ode to them basically saying, hey, you guys put all this work in to make me and to raise me. Now I'm working just like you guys. Another awesome rap performance given by him. Some of his best bars. There are a few times on here, he reminded me of Wiz Khalifa a little bit with the way he sounded, and his singing with the hook. It's really nice. Overall, he's just done a much better job on this thing in all aspects. And then finally, the album wraps up with the other half. Probably my favorite track on the whole album. 85 to Africa's here. The other half's like here. I mean, it's so close. The reason why I like the other half more though is because you get a more intimate feel here, where the rest of the album did its job in making you feel like you're ready to turn up and like have a real good time. This one is like that moment at a party where everybody's just chilling, everybody's relaxed. It has such a smooth instrumental. The features on here by Saint Beauty and Mariba, two artists I've never heard of before, but will definitely be checking out more. These ladies give such a pleasant addition to this song. Mariba with the hook, and then Saint Beauty with her little outro at the end. All of it collectively just makes the whole song awesome. Plus the fact that Jidenna once again delivers some of his best rapping. I can't stress that enough. I have not heard Jidenna rap better than he does on this album at any point in his whole career. This song wraps up this album, wraps up this journey that Jidenna tried to take us on, and you can feel it. It opened up with the song that made us feel like we were about to take off somewhere great, and it ended like when you're on a vacation and you take that last look around and you're like, damn, this shit was nice. I can't wait to come back. Guys, this album was a pleasurable listen all the way through. I could listen to it straight, no skips, upbeat throughout the entire thing, just positive energy, no sad songs, no whininess. It was just a good time straight through. I highly suggest that all you guys check this album out. I want to give this one a 4 out of 5. If you guys have listened to this album, let me know what you think about it. I'm eager to hear a lot of you guys' opinions. This is actually one of my first videos that I'll be putting up on the channel, so let me know how I did. Try not to go too hard on me. I mean, do what you feel. I can take it. Would you guys agree with me in saying that this album is probably the one that's going to move Jidenna up in rank in the music industry? I believe so. I think everything else that he put out before this, while I'm not saying that it's bad, I feel like it just blended in too much. Whereas this album is definitely going to help him stand out. This is going to be one of the best albums I heard this year. I know it is. Let me know what you guys think. My name's Sage, and if you guys enjoyed watching this, go ahead and hit a like button for me and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Remember, music is life. Make sure you live it right. You guys have a good one.